Bloodborne, created by From Software, the makers of Demon Souls and Dark Souls, is a game very well known for its amazing and difficult combat, but also for its stunning visuals, setting, and lore. Whereas most of the videos you'll see on YouTube might praise the gameplay or difficulty, I just want to take a step back and focus on something a little different. Partially inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, the premise of Bloodborne can teach us a great lesson about dreams and the many ways in which they can become nightmares. To best summarize the story of the game, there are these ancient beings first discovered in the tombs below Yharnam, the city that you explore in the game. These ancient beings are called Great Ones, creatures with godlike powers that far exceed the understanding of meager humans like you and I. And as per our human curiosity, certain individuals go to great lengths to study and capture the power of these Great Ones in order to lead humanity towards its next evolution. Of these individuals are three relevant figures in Bloodborne's story: Master Willem, Mikolash, and Gehrman. And each person from this trio uses the power of the Great Ones by way of an umbilical cord to achieve what it is they desire. Master Willem, who believed that insight or knowledge alone was the key towards ascending to the power of the Great Ones, used his umbilical cord to gain more insight. With this potential, he gains the immense wisdom he sought for, but cannot act upon it. When we finally meet him in Bergenworth, we learn that he has become an old and decrepit man despite all his efforts. And there he is, all alone, sitting beside the moon, while what remains of his former students lurks beneath his chambers in the form of hideous bugs, monsters, and beasts.
Cos. Or some say cosm. Do you hear our prayers? No, we shall not abandon the dream. No one can catch us. No one can stop us now.
Mikolash, a former student of Master Wilhelm, was far more ambitious than his master. With his umbilical cord, he sought audience with a great one named Murgo. He got what he wanted, but like Wilhelm, it came at a great cost. In the process, his life and the lives of hundreds of his students were sacrificed in the process and trapped within a nightmare realm where they were damned for an eternity and led to insanity. Gehrman, leader of the hunters and guardian of the hunter's dream, is responsible for leading the hunt against the beasts that plague Yharnam and guides the player in slaying the Great One. His motives are much more relatable than Master Willem or Mikolash, as his only desire is for a life of freedom beyond his role as leader. With his umbilical cord, he wishes a doll that resembled a past love to life as his sole companion while he sees hunters come and go from the dream. With the power of the Great Ones, Gehrman got what he wanted in the form of companionship, but it wasn't what he truly needed. Despite having the doll, what he truly wants is for freedom from his responsibility as leader, which we learn about in this rare piece of dialogue.
Oh, Lawrence, Master Willem,
Somebody.
help me. Unshackle me, please. Anybody. I've had enough of this dream. The night blocks all sight. Oh, somebody, please.
He cannot leave the hunter's dream as he is eternally bound to it by a great one called the Moon Presence, and is forever tasked with leading other hunters such as the playable character and killing other great ones for all of eternity. Despite their wishing, their dreaming, Master Willem, Mikolash, and Gehrman don't achieve what they desire by the end of the game. Their dreams evolve into nightmares that enslave and bound them to an endless hell. But therein lies the heart of Bloodborne's story. that the dream is a nightmare. When we get caught up in dreams of power, of success, of glory, of fame, or of love, we risk unintentionally creating a nightmare and a purgatory of anguish and horror. Now, if we apply the logic of Bloodborne's story to our own lives, then doesn't that make us great ones? As humans, we have the ability to think, to fight, to imagine, to create, to adapt, to love, but more importantly, the ability to dream. But with the power to dream comes the chance to immerse ourselves in fantasies and wonderlands that may never come true. And in pursuit of these dreams, in the pursuit of happiness, we can destroy everything around us. I want to ask you all a question. Was there ever a time where you dreamt of a career, dreamt of love, of friends, of money, of material possessions, of success, or of acceptance? But in pursuing those things, you destroyed what you already had or made your life a living nightmare? I cannot answer that question for you, of course, but I can answer for myself, and the answer is a resounding yes. Now, in the minutes that remain, through the sound waves and frequency that carry my voice, these vibrations to you, I want to take you all on a small journey to see exactly what I mean. I too was a great one, but I used my power to dream unwisely and created a nightmare for myself, not once, nor twice, but plenty of times. Ever since I was a young boy, I was always interested in computers and getting them to run whatever MMO, whatever game, whatever program I wanted to at the time. Now, I'll admit, I might have broken a few laptops when I was younger in the pursuit of this, but that didn't kill my ambition at all. I built my first PC of my father when I was around 13 or so. That one wasn't good enough to quench my thirst, and I remember trying to get Borderlands 2 to run as well as I could on that suboptimal machine, but I couldn't push it past 30 frames or so. I remember spending countless hours watching Linus Tech Tips and Hardware Canucks, dreaming that could be me with a GTX Titan and an i7 running games on their max settings and the highest of frame rates. I wanted more, and I got my dream fulfilled just a couple years later. My second PC, this beauty, this masterpiece of a machine, featured an i5 4690K, a 780 Ti, and a Noctua NHD15, just to list a few things. And it had a fractal design-defined R4 Blackout Edition, so I had the tinted windows. You know what's up. It was some really high-end gear for 2014. But did any of that really make me happy? Well, yes it did, but only for a little bit. Material possessions can only grant but temporal happiness. Like Mikolash, I got what I wanted, but it wasn't what I needed at the time. I had this big Steam library with nearly 100 games and the hardware to blaze right through it, but I didn't have the friends to enjoy it with. All my friends were still on console, on PS4, where I'd make my eventual return when Destiny came out in the fall of 2014. That game, the memory of running Vault of Glass and Crota's End and Year 1 Trials of Osiris with my friends are the memories that I'll hold in my heart forever. Because that game, Destiny 1, saved my life. That's what I needed, companionship. Not in the form of computer that aided in my isolation and depression, but in the form of real people just hanging out and having fun.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Left. How I save video? This dude jumped right over him. That's okay.
I was never into esports like CSGO, League of Legends, or fighting games growing up. I played way too much Call of Duty like everyone else, and even when I grew out of that, I transitioned into single-player games like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy. But that all changed when a special game called Rainbow Six Siege arrived in my life in the summer of the 11th grade.
You can change the game in one bold move.
Are you ready to siege the day?
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
The amount of skill and knowledge that you needed to have in order to be good captured my attention in a way that no other game could at the time. It was the competitive multiplayer experience I was looking for to replace Destiny's Trials of the Osiris, but one that captured the beauty, difficulty, and depth of the single-player games I grew up with, like Kingdom Hearts or even Bloodborne. When I first got the game, I grinded in casual to level 100 just to make sure I was up to par with my friends who had bought the game a year prior, and quickly became a prominent member of the rank stacked. But that's where the issues began. I loved Rainbow just a little too much.
Let's go! Was that an ace? That was an ace! That was an ace, bro! Let's go!
Good job. Good job.
Let's go! Can't touch me!
Good job. Good job.
That was my first ace. Let's go. He's like, trash.
I took every game, every loss, every victory much more seriously than my friends did who just wanted to have fun. It wasn't before long I began watching Pro League and became transfixed by just how much more complex and faster the game was on PC compared to console. It wasn't before long until I bought the game on PC and began grinding on there instead of on PS4 with my friends. I really loved this game. Loved it so much I spent nearly a third of my summer's earnings on a mechanical keyboard, a mouse, a high refresh rate monitor, and a mouse pad just to gain a competitive advantage in the game. I loved it so much I'd watch Pro League in the school dining halls and during large lectures. I loved it so much I'd race back to my dorm in the hour break I had between stats and sociology just to play T-Hunt and practice my aim. I loved it so much I carried my monitor in hand along with 3 heavy bags across the streets of Providence, across multiple trains, across the subways of New York City where I could have been mugged just to play Rainbow at 144 Hz during winter break. I dream of going pro, of going on that world stage, being on match point and clutching out a 1v5 to secure the trophy. I dream of the glory, the ability to call myself the greatest there ever was. But in my pursuit to become the best, I've not only hurt myself, but my friends as well. Whenever I play on PC, it's just me sadly. I'm a hard-stuck Gold 1, Plat 3 that's on the cusp of getting better, but is a long way from becoming spectacular. I can't carry a team towards victory during solo queue, nor can I get a group of consistent people to play with regardless of what subreddit, what website, or what Discord server I check. At the same time, I forego many opportunities to play Siege on my console with my friends because I prefer the PC version and seek to improve on there instead of on PS4. And while these PC clips might seem awesome, I wasn't having nearly as much fun as when I played on console with my friends, like in this small clip of many.
That was crazy.
Nah, they changed this map crazy, bro. What?
Lion construction at the breach. He knows where I am. Good. Still there. Got him. Cause it's stupid. Oh really? I have diffuser.
Oh my god, bro! Bro, you got
What are you doing?
I don't understand you! This nigga fucking crushed! Oh god, we're gonna...
Where is he, John?
I'm so sorry.
We're even now. We're even.
But sadly, they don't dream of getting better in the ways that I do. They don't care about the glory that I hope to achieve. And sometimes I feel like a jerk for all the nights that I don't hop on PS4. Sometimes I feel like they resent me for how much more seriously I take the game than they do when they're just trying to have fun. I have this dream, this burning desire to go pro and to be the best. But in doing so, I sacrifice the people and the experiences that mean most to me. So, is the pain worth it? Is the sacrifice worth it? I don't know, but I'm here now, conflicted between two worlds, trapped with no way out. Finally, this is the dream I consider to be the most important. Now, if you take literally nothing from this video, I hope you learned from this very short segment. I want to tell you all about the first girl I really liked. It was the end of the 8th grade, the end of my transitionary middle school years and on to 9th grade, the beginning of my high school adventure, the quote-unquote best years of my life. And I had everything that I wanted, the good grades, the best of friends I could ever ask for. I even had the aforementioned PC with, an i5 4690K and a 780 Ti. I truly had it all. But I just wanted one more thing. I wanted love. And I got that too, or so I thought. In the fall of my freshman year, I began dating this girl, and for some reason, she liked me back and didn't reject me. It was really fun and awesome at the start, and it was cool to experience something I never truly had before. But I spent so much time in my own head dreaming about going on dates, dreaming about kissing her, dreaming about laughing and having fun together that I never truly did any of those things with her. In the months when we were dating, I was too preoccupied with other personal matters and with school, too focused on one day accomplishing those dreams that I forgot to appreciate the person who was right in front of me. I was too focused on a concept of love that I thought I had and would never lose that I forgot that real love takes hard work and effort. Even though I thought I was a good boyfriend, from her perspective, I wasn't. I was completely absent. I wasn't the person I should have been, and I wasn't the person that I promised to be. And the attention that she needed from me, she quickly got from another boy. We lasted almost 2 months before she broke up with me. And so the dream I thought I had accomplished, I had truly failed. Life for me afterwards was a nightmare, a depressing hell playing on repeat in my mind day after day. But I had no one else to blame for that failure, except for myself. It's the nightmare I created, the nightmare that took me almost 2 years to finally escape, the nightmare that was born from dreaming unwisely. I don't want to make those same mistakes, not ever again. Subconsciously, I think I've spent years being clingy and overbearing with other girls just to prevent that from happening again. All that I wanted was right in front of me, but I let it slip away in the pursuit of a dream that wasn't meant to be. Emma Russack, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, has a brilliant song titled All My Dreaming on just this topic.
All my dreaming, all my wishing, it hasn't come through. But life's just like that, and I don't know what I am looking for, but when I find it will feel right. I've dreamt of loving, I've wished for control. It hasn't come through, but I won't push that. Maybe all that I've ever wanted is what I have, and that is alright.
I hope through all of this I was able to show you what Bloodborne taught me, that the dream is a nightmare. Now, of course, not every dream is a nightmare, and you shouldn't stop yourself from pursuing what is most important to you, but the ability to see what goals will wreak havoc on your life is the most critical one to learn. In a very subtle way, Bloodborne hints at this through a game mechanic called Insight, or as we might call it, knowledge or understanding of the Great Ones. At the beginning of the game, you start with 0 insight, but as you progress and slay beasts, you gain enough insight to see all the hidden monsters and details that were hidden at the beginning of the game. Real life isn't any different. When we are young, we are inexperienced, unwise, less knowledgeable of the world. But as we grow older, as we trip and fall, as we rise and conquer, we grow to understand how to maneuver life in all its complexities. You gain insight. You gain the finesse and the knowledge to see what dreams, what decisions may be unwise, and the power to see what beasts and troubles lie ahead of you. I hope this video gave you some insight on dreams, goals, and pursuits, and that you use that knowledge to navigate the perilous journey that we call life. I want to leave you all with the source of my inspiration for this video, a song by Angel Olsen called Chance. Now, I didn't quite understand the lyrics at first, but someone really important to me gave me the insight to see what it was truly all about and how I could further connect it to Bloodborne. Within the song, Angel talks about how far off and trapping the dream of love can be, how it can blind people from missing the very person they care most about. She pleads against the notion of loving fast and blind and preaches the ideal that we cherish the people, the experiences, and the things that stand before us in the current moment. As she states, all that space in between where we stand could be our chance. It's hard to say forever, love. Forever is just so far away. Why don't you say you're with me now with all of your heart? Thank you for watching. May you find your worth in the waking world. My dear hunter, slay the beast and end the nightmare.
All that space in between where we stand could be our chance, could be our chance. I'm walking through the sand. I'm saying all the lines. I wish I could unsay some things that gave me life. I wish I could unload some things that told me so. I wish I could believe all that's been promised me. It's hard to say forever, love. Forever's just so far. It's hard to say forever, love. Forever's just so far. It's hard to say forever, love. Forever's just so far. Why don't you say